sleeping upstairs, one sleeping downstairs.
Welcome back to the Clydesdale Media Presents. Just a whole shit show, basically, tonight, but we're having fun. We just got back to the hotel, tried to get some equipment to work, and we're running on bare bones. But we've got great guests with us tonight, Carolyn Prevost. We've got Alexis Detroit and Mitch McClune, otherwise known as Carrie Pierce's boyfriend.
That's right. We're good.
So, guys, crazy day, crazy events, hopping over logs. One of you had to do that. The rest got to watch. Thoughts about today's programming?
That first workout was a lot on the body. It's such a cool event, though. I just think it had a good amount of strongman and then run. You couldn't only be a good runner because you were going to struggle with the Husafel and the sandbags and the pig. But then if you were only strong, you still held a chance by just kind of staying in the race and running. Like if you look at certain athletes. Am I echoing?
You have to turn the volume off.
I know, I do. Yeah,
okay.
But I'm sorry.
I just think it was a good mixture of strength and cardio on that one. And then the ring muscle up one, the rings were like really swaying. So you had to like.
Oh no.
Oh no, here we go.
She frozen?
She is.
It's okay. It will be a pause for her. Carolyn, on the first workout, can you hear us?
Yep.
I just thought it was cool because it kind of involved the whole community of like Madison, Wisconsin, and just like being able to run on trails that like the locals use or people who go there use from the university and everything, and then going to the Capitol. So it was just cool to have that piece of it. And from my perspective, like running, one is either boring if it's on a runner, or two, that you're running around a track like in a circle for 3.5 miles. So to run from one point to another and like get change of scenery, change of terrain, people along the way like rooting you on, like that would just motivate me to go even faster.
Yeah, those fans were awesome. Like they were just at different points throughout the run, and they were always cheering, and it just was like little voices that just, got you going a little bit faster. And then as soon as you got to the Capitol and especially State Street, the fans just blew up. Like it was so loud. It was packed. You turn around the circle where you like picked up the Husafel, and it just like the entire time was just cheers, and it was unreal. And then just to go up the Capitol on like the stairs, it was crazy. It was so cool.
And the fact that you're an alumni that had to
and
add
just like
to the
Rebecca's moment that she had.
Yeah, like I was running like John Nolan Drive, and I'm like, I remember I've rollerbladed this so many times. It used to be like my favorite place to go, like rollerblading and biking and just having a view of the city when I was at school. Like it's literally like my favorite view. So going through John Nolan Drive, like I knew exactly the next road. I'm like, oh, here you're going on Broome. Oh, here you're going Wilson. Okay, it's gonna go up a little bit on Hamilton. So like I knew exactly like the terrain. And then it was hot though. It was I was lucky I was in the first heat. So we got maybe a little bit less heat than the second heat, which I'm sure was a factor. But as I was doing my 5K, I just remembered me and Lex did a lot of 5Ks in California, and she would force me to go like mid-afternoon. Where she lives is like super, super like dry heat, but I don't do very well with heat normally. And she's just like, no, we're going to go for a 5K. And there was like no shade ever when we would run. So I just like remember telling myself like, okay, like you've done this with Lex, like literally this entire summer, like you're ready for this. And I thought I ran really well, and I'm not like a phenomenal distance runner. So I was very happy with my run there.
How was the bag on those steps? Was it as devastating as?
It just kept going. Like the stairs kept going. You would go through one, a flat section and you're like, oh no, I can't hold on to it all the way through. So let's drop it before. Here comes another one back down. And it's like, it was so defeating. Everyone was just resting. Like there's no way you could do that unbroken, obviously. And you're just looking at everyone and we're all dying. You're like, the bag's on the floor and I'm kind of like looking between my legs if there's any girls behind me. I'm like, no, that's a guy. That's fine. And I'm like, okay, but there's another heat coming up behind. Like there's another heat later. So I can't fully like just wait for the next girl. But you're just like looking around and everyone's just in the same hole right now.
There was
but yeah,
somebody, I think
the
it
fans
was
were awesome.
there was somebody, I forget, I think it was the first girl who finished. I don't remember. But she started by like setting her Husafell like on the ledges everywhere. So she like set it up higher. Every time she drop it, it'd be on like a planter ledge or the side where it was a bit higher. And finally the judge after like 5 times was like, okay, no, you can't do that. Instead of like setting it on the ground. I was like, oh, that's smart. And like they were talking about how smart it was to like set it up higher. And as soon as they started to say that on the commentary, they're like, nope, you can't do that.
Yeah, she slowed down incredibly after that too.
I had someone that told me that like Danny Spiegel was coming to my right because at first everyone was going on the left side of the stairs, and sorry, little dog's coming here. And at one point, like I must have had like someone that was like a hockey fan or something. And he was like, "You got Prevo, you got someone just to your right, like." You got to get going. And then sure enough, like I looked to my right and Spiegel's like about to pass me and she did pass me at a certain point. And I was like, okay, nope, this is the time I got to pick it up. And then I had just beat her to the line. I was like, oh man, like, so like the fans were just like amazing. Like they're just letting us know like who's beside us, everything. I could hear some people saying like, UW alum, go. Like, so like some of them must have known. So like, it was just cool. Like that's by far my favorite event I think I've ever done.
So I drove our 4th person over there to get some footage this morning, looked at those steps, and they are way steeper than they look on TV.
It's just carrying the bag in the front was hard. Like you're compressing also your chest, you're just tired. Your grip is a little bit tired from the what do they call the jerry can sandbag things.
The grocery bags.
The grocery. But even putting it on your shoulder, like I was almost hunched over. I couldn't get it like directly on my back like this, like some of the girls could. So like one side of my core was blowing up because like I'm just compressing the one side. And you're just holding 150 pounds and you're just walking, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, we were watching I think Ellie Turner, and they had like a close up of her midsection and like her abs were diagonal. Like you could see like the musculature of her abdomen.
Yeah,
her abdomen was completely like skewed. It was really wild to see.
It was hard. And I was like, I was looking where the line was. I'm like, I was like, it was almost slipping. And I'm like, no, I don't want to clean it one more time. Like, just make it to that yellow line. And I was like, come on, where is it? Oh, I see it. Don't let it go. Don't let it go. Don't let it go. You're just like doing it's like little wins when you have the Husafell at that point. You're just like, make it to that mark. Make it to that mark.
Do you think if more athletes were doing Carrie Pierce's abs all the time, then maybe that would have been more helpful to carry that through?
Yeah, Mitch, what do you say about that?
Don't we all
just
want
put like
Carrie
the power
Pierce's
abs in there?
The power abs. That's what I'm saying. I'm just
Oh yeah, I need to go. I need to go on her program. I think Lex follows it. She has some of it. Don't you?
Oh, I mean I have like I subscribe to it.
Yeah.
That's like our other co-host. He subscribes to Day One.
I dabble a bit. She like does her lives like every Sunday or like during the week, and sometimes like I'll be over and just be in the background like, oh, I'll like try and keep up with this, and I get like 3 minutes in. I'm like, nope.
I'm out.
That's good.
So let's move to event 2, up and over. Let's start with the men's side. Mitch, 42-inch box jumps. That was a huge separator, depending on your height.
Yeah,
That was a huge difference between the guys and the girls. Sorry, go ahead,
agree.
Mitch. I was
Yeah.
like,
42 inches is no joke. I think that's like forehead height for me, probably. I'm in the Colton Burns book,
It's
but
like up to here.
I felt so bad for Colton Burns.
Yes.
yeah, especially when you pair that with like the GHDs, because like your abs and your core, and like you can't, the whole 42 inches, like you're not actually vertically jumping 42 inches, you're just drawing your knees up, but you can't draw your knees up because your core is just destroyed. So it's just like even more fun. But yeah,
So we
those,
heard
like,
that the standard on the log was you couldn't put your chest on the log to get over it.
yeah, you
Is that
couldn't
true?
you couldn't like at Rogue Invitational last year, we had an over under on the log, and you could basically go like sideways onto the log where you just kind of put your stomach there. That's what they didn't want you to do. So they wanted you to actually use your arms and press to like or jump laterally, but it was pretty high though, the logs, but they just didn't want you doing that like on your stomach type of roll.
And you had to finish with your back
They
facing
also
the
had that
log,
standard
right?
on the jump for the pig. Like the pig, you had to face forward and then be facing like your back to the pig when you jumped over before you turned around.
Yeah, I got a couple no reps on my jumps just because I was like sideways on my jump, and then they're like, no, you gotta be fully facing or back to the pig. And then even on the log, there's one time where I just pressed up both hands on the log, not even going to my stomach, but my stomach touches the log as I have both hands pressed, and the judge no rep me. I was like, that wasn't a standard. The standard is just not to put your stomach like not to roll, but my stomach's gonna like hit if I'm just pressing both my hands. Like I was in a supported position, so it was weird. But like overall, yeah, those jumps were hard, especially after the capital workout too. Like I didn't feel I had good spring in my legs, and normally I love box jumps, and I just
yeah, what was that turnaround like? Because I think it was like pretty quick, like 90 minutes or like 2 hours, and you guys were like on the floor again, right?
yeah, it was like I thought we had enough time to like recover, but you're not ever recovered anymore at the games at this point. Like everything's just getting sore. Um, yeah, it was just not like yeah, it was like some people definitely made time on the box jumps for sure. Like I think Paige was right beside me and she was smashing it. And I was like, oh my God, I just don't have that right now. So I just tried to like run my race and just kind of move and go through it. The GHDs, yeah, we're definitely affecting also the muscle ups, which they did in the quarterfinals as well. Like that was kind of similar with the pistol, GHD, ring muscle ups. The lunges at the end, they got hard obviously at the end, but like you're just trying to finish at that point. So you're just like holding on to the bar. That bar was hot though.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, and they had them covered before they went on
I
the
like
floor.
those lunge finishes.
You do or you don't?
I do. Like it's cool to have the lunge finish because it's like who could hold on to this bar, like when everything is destroyed. Your core is done, your quads are sore, like your heart rate's up and it's freaking hot. It's like cool to see the race or like who's holding on, and somebody drops their bar and then the next person catches up and then they're like neck and neck. Like for me that's very exciting, like as a spectator or fan, like see that finish. Like a lot of the CrossFit events that I remember that were good were like the ones that have like lunges to the finish or something that gets the crowd going. So I like that piece.
And it's slow enough where you can make up a lot of ground.
Some people definitely did make up ground. Like I didn't in my heat because most of my heat was much faster than me in that workout. So I just was lunging to finish it. But like it's funny because like I think I finished second last in my heat, but like only one, maybe two people from prior heat speeds. Like our heat was super fast. So like you always feel so bad about yourself if you're in a good heat sometimes, but then you look back and you're like, oh, I didn't do as bad as I thought. They just made me look bad.
So in that one, we had Saxon win for the men and Tia for the women. And then we learned what it was like to do a wall-facing handstand push-up. with the deficit.
Well, we didn't.
Or we did it,
And a
or we
line- and a
didn't want it.
line to touch or something.
So there's been a lot
So
of.
I thought it was cool that they had like a new one in there. Like to see something new is cool. In my perspective, like it could have just been to a flat surface this year, where like the athletes still have the feedback of hitting the floor with their head, because like from a spectator perspective, like it seemed like the line and the judging is like very subjective. It's like, did your forehead pass that line? Did your head pass that line? Like, are you below your, like,
Do you have a big
I don't
head?
know. It was kind of all over the place. So
Right.
it would have been,
Did your
yeah,
bun
do you
hit
have
the
a big
line?
forehead where your head,
Well, Mitch, you were
yeah,
presumably
so
watching
it would have been
watching
like,
the
I
live
like,
stream.
Carolyn and I talked about them having that.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, Mitch, we were all there, so we couldn't hear sort of if the people doing the commentary were commenting on any kind of sketchy reps, or were they talking about it? Because there were a lot of athletes that were getting stuck, obviously.
Yeah, no, there was no commentary like blatantly calling people out for sketchy reps, but like watching the live stream, it was pretty clear to see like it seemed like there was a lot of variability there from judge to judge. I know that certain like had certain judges that were like just hammering people, and it seemed like it was very subjective. And then obviously two girls, if you got longer hair or ponytail or anything, like that's coming down, so no one can really see. I think definitely with the floor there, I think it would have been an easier like audible like cue that you could actually tactile feel and people could see. But I mean, it was a cool evolution of the movement, but it definitely, I think it blurs that line of like, I don't know if they're quite ready for that one yet.
Well,
Yeah,
I think the part that's so interesting is that, you know, we've been adding so many different types of elements and changes into like each event. But the challenge with that, I mean, not only just for athletes adapting to that new change, but how do we train or let our judges know what those standards are, and then how do those judges enforce those in the moment? You know, they're with all of that change.
Yeah, they actually had a hair rule. I don't know if you guys knew.
Oh,
We
oh, they
couldn't
did?
put, yeah, the girls couldn't put like a high bun or something like that. But like
Some of the girls
most
did.
people, like even if they had their hair here, as soon as you come upside down, it still comes at like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. So like you could see some people's hair were just definitely playing a factor. Like it's just hard to look at.
Yeah.
But like the standard was just so weird. Like you're just reaching with your neck, but like if you go too low, then like you're just stuck there and you're not
You're
pressing
screwed.
out. So you're
Yeah.
just literally like reaching with your neck in this awkward angle. And like, yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
some anatomy can play a factor in that. Like Lex and I were talking that maybe like this, I mean, it was cool events though. It was super hard. Like maybe in the first year you introduce just the wall facing flat. You could do a wall walk to the platform, because just making it to there was like that. Not was like we didn't have to put the chest to the ground for the wall walk, but like that walk to the platform was very hard. Like
Yeah,
stepping
that's
off,
what
like
that's
that
what I
would be
thought
a
it was going to
cool-
be.
That would be a
That's
cool
what I thought.
new wall walk variation, and that could.
Yeah.
I still think that could be possibly in the future. But it was like it was like skipping 2 or 3 steps and going right to a wall facing deficit strict. Like that was definitely hard. But I mean, we are at the games, so
Yeah.
it's expected to challenge us in new and different ways, and some of us definitely got exposed in that. Yeah, it was very difficult.
Yeah, I feel like you can see they had like the little blocks and then the big blocks. If you just did like a wall walk to the little blocks and then had your head have to touch, I felt like that probably would have been an appropriate first step, and then like you can work your way up from there. But yeah, that definitely looked like it was a lot to digest for sure.
Was Carrie just looking at that workout and being like, "Gosh, there's so much gymnastics this weekend, and I should have just made my comeback this year"?
More like me. I've been texting her because she's been so busy this week, just like working the booth and stuff. She said the days are longer there with like doing all that. It's like she's exhausted just meeting so many people. But I was like, I would have paid so much money to see you do this workout and then the parallel bars and dips workout. It's like
There's quite a few that I think.
Even the pegboard one, I would have paid to see Carrie do that one.
Yeah, and the jerk one. Pretty much anything overhead.
Just pretty much just the whole CrossFit Games.
Lex and I were talking. We're like, this is Carrie Pierce's CrossFit Games right now. Like, this has so much gymnastics and stuff like that. Like, and I was like, even the shoulder to overhead. I go, that's like her best lift. I was like, these are amazing events. It's funny. We literally talked about Carrie tonight.
You know, so Carolyn had brought up like on the first or on the when they had the shoulder to overhead the jerk, they were gonna switch it to a strict press if there was like a rain contingency plan, and the strict press weight for the women was gonna be 145 pounds. We're like,
but you know what? Because I took like last in that event, in hindsight, I wish it was a strict press because a lot of girls would do 0 and then it just becomes a running workout. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I was either going to finish last anyways. But yeah, 100, it was supposed to be 225, 145 is what Boz said in an interview or something. I was like,
in a strict press?
In a strict press.
You're going to have more than 3/4 of your male and female field that just get 0.
Yeah. Like, what was Carrie's strict press at the one games, 155 or 160? And like
the best, I think it was like 160 or something, but her best is like 167. Which
let's make this real here.
That's like my
the
jerk.
CrossFit total at the 2020 games, the winning weight was 215.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Yeah. I don't know how that would have been. I was thinking maybe in the like 165, 115, maybe even 185, 115, because the guys are just stronger in the strict press naturally sometimes.
I could see 185, I think would be
like 185. I was thinking 115 to 125 max.
Yeah, but when you told me, I was like, oh my gosh. So like 7 maybe girls will get 1 rep.
Yeah, that would have been a disaster if they tried
Probably,
that.
yeah. You had to make it to the barbell and buy yourself time too. Like that was difficult.
Yeah, true.
I feel like jerks are a lot easier to do. It's not easy, but like under fatigue, like you're moving yourself around a barbell, where like a strict lift like that, you're bracing, and it's just it's a lot different doing breathing really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. They saved it. For sure.
So this question's for Alexis and Mitch. Do you think the games have been fun to watch this year? Now, Alexis has a vested interest. Mitch doesn't.
I get somewhat of a vested interest. I mean, you got Alex from the Underdogs crew. My roommate for the last month is also sitting at the top of the male leaderboard right now. So that's been interesting to see. But it's been fun. It's definitely, I think, like we touched on it before, some of the events have made it kind of like the skills event, I think, was a cool event, but it definitely was a little bit of a bummer to watch when people just got to the double unders and whipped themselves for 3 minutes. So like, but then again, the capital event was super awesome to watch. So like, you got to take it.
And that skills event was great up until the final 5.
I loved the first round.
I wish it was 10
Yeah.
though. I wish it was 10 people.
Agreed.
I think 5 is aggressive.
Yeah, I think they could have done like 10 people make it to the final and then have it that just so there's a bit more variability. Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed watching the games. Some of the like the crossover double unders, I'm like, okay, this is a lot. But I understand other people's perspective and saying like it tests like your ability to adapt and your coordination and all of those types of things. But like Carolyn's point on the handstand push-ups is like, did we skip any progressions to get to this point that we could have done at the comp? So like maybe triple unders this year and then you switch to like more advanced skills. So but I mean, I've enjoyed watching Carolyn and everybody else compete and just seeing like the leaderboard jumble, like with different people at the top that you wouldn't anticipate or expect, both on the individual side and on the team side. I think there's been some like cool races or cool stories in there that make it where it's not like, okay, here's your typical leader here's a person wearing the red leader shirt for the entire weekend. Now we have like different people, you know, younger women at the top of the leaderboard for the girls. Like it's cool to see that, and like the rookie, like Emma Lawson and everything, doing different things. So yeah.
Yeah, it's been crazy because even though Tia is in the lead now, she's only won 2 of the first 8 scored events. And that's not what happened last year, right? We're getting different winners in every event. Mayhem didn't win until today. And on the men's side, it's been all over the map. So I think that's been really, really interesting. Carolyn, my last question for you, because I know that you can't
Yeah, I'm
stay
gonna
with
head
us
to bed
forever.
soon.
Yeah, is the crowds. Like you were here last year post-COVID. It seemed a little dead. This year, it is, in my feeling, a much bigger and louder crowd than we've had in years past.
Yeah, the crowd, like I said, even like in the Capitol event, like there's people everywhere. Outdoor was like, I mean, Wednesday there wasn't as many people, but then obviously today there was a lot of people. People are coming in for the weekend a lot of times, and like it was packed today in the Coliseum, super loud. I've had just a more like positive experience of the games this year. Also, just because like the cuts, like I'm never a huge fan, like I'm never a fan of cuts, just because I feel like athletes can play a role in any workout. But there's just less pressure too to like on the athletes. Like you get at least to the Saturday night. It's not like you can get cut on the Friday morning or Friday night. Like you get 11 scored events, which is much better than we've seen in the past before, like some of the cuts in the recent years, anyways. But yeah, like it's just been amazing. They're so loud. They're cool. Like it's just cool to be here. Yeah, I definitely see a little difference too from last year. But I think last year I just didn't enjoy the experience as much because I was so stressed with like just getting cut. So I've been able to I've been more able to kind of appreciate the crowd, appreciate even being with the girls that I'm competing against. Just being more talkative and stuff like that and more relaxed. So I definitely think that it's just a better experience.
Great. So Mitch and Alexis, if you could jump in and do one workout that's been done already, what would that workout be?
I know which one you're gonna say, Lex.
The Capitol.
No, I was thinking the shoulder to overhead with the
Oh,
run.
yeah. Well, I did that one already. So I tested the shoulder overhead and run Carolyn before she did it. So she had like my opinions on that one and just like where the opportunity was. Now, a new one I would want to test is the Capitol just because it's just strongman and grunt work. And those are my favorite types of workouts. The other ones are a little bit too gymnastics for my liking. So give me strength, raw strength and grit and cardio. I'm good.
Yeah,
Like,
actually, you would have done really well at the Capitol one.
the bike workout if it wasn't paired with chest to bar and toes to bar. Just a bike.
How about you, Mitch?
You know what? No one would have noticed. Maybe that judging in that one was all over.
Yeah.
You do what you do. You do what you want in that one.
Tomorrow's ski erg and swimming workout looks really fun. So excited to see that one.
Yeah, they all look really fun. I would like to get in the water. I like to swim, so that would be a fun one for sure. The second 2 today, I love muscle ups and gymnastics and strict handstand push-ups because I'm no carry at strict handstand push-ups, but I'm pretty good. She makes me look really bad, but she makes everybody look bad at them. So definitely those 2 from today or the swim one. They all look great. So,
Do you guys have
What are
any
your-
predictions for the lift tomorrow night?
That was literally my question to you guys. Do you guys have any predictions for tomorrow night's lifts?
I'd love to see a ladder of some kind.
I would
I think a ladder would be fun.
a snatch ladder or some type of heavy deadlift.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I know, we know what you want, Carolyn. As heavy of a deadlift as possible, as many reps as possible. Yes.
Yes, I need not as heavy as possible, as many reps as possible
Okay.
at,
I mean,
at a heavy weight.
we haven't done a deadlift in a few years. I mean, the last time we did it was a
Last
total.
year's qualifier.
I mean, just mean for in the games. With the games. So
They've been doing a lot of front squats with the age group and the teams. So I'm putting some sort of front squat because we've seen it in the age group and stuff.
Maybe a back squat for you guys.
But then I'm like,
Overhead. No,
part of
they
me is like,
what do you think?
maybe it is a snatch.
what do you think, Mitch?
overhead squat would be a cool callback to like 2014. I think they did it, but I think they did that in quarters, so they wouldn't repeat that. We haven't snatched heavy this year, so I think that's
I'm
the
limited by my jerk.
that's the go-to answer. But I don't think it's. I think if you look at what's happened so far, I don't think it's going to be anything that people predict. Maybe strict pull-up for like strict weighted pull-up. I saw the age group do that.
Mhm.
Maybe that would be a portion of it. I don't think that
I
would
think
be
something like that.
yeah. I don't think that would
I,
be.
like,
the
I think we need to squat
Saturday
heavy.
night.
We haven't squatted heavy.
Mhm.
What about a thruster ladder?
Mm.
Speed thruster ladder.
So I don't know. if
Nothing
they-
above head, guys. Nothing above head. Let's keep
That's
it the
true.
legs. Just
I just
lower
think-
body.
So this is not analysis of what they think. This is analysis of what Carolyn wants.
I know, right? Yeah. Different question.
I just think based on what we've seen this year, it's going to be something non-traditional that we haven't seen.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
seems to be
Or
doing
just
different
raw strength.
raw strength. Yeah.
basic.
But people have also like we've had in the warm up area these like sandbags, like with the handle that Rogue does. I wonder if we have an event with that.
Where you
That'd
like
be-
toss it over.
Like
where you
Right.
toss it over. It could be something like we just don't expect, right? Like just some sort of
max
random.
reps of throwing it over a bar or something.
That'd be cool.
Didn't
we
Boz,
did get measured for the yoke also, by the way, today
Oh,
or
fun.
yesterday. So we know that
Didn't
there's a yoke
Boz-
coming, and that's it.
I feel like Boz in an interview said something about there's going to be one workout this weekend that everyone can do.
That's the pool one.
Yeah.
That's the full ski.
Oh, it is? Everyone has a pool and a ski? I thought it was like going to be something like you could do at home. Or
I've seen people sink right to the bottom of a pool. I was a lifeguard for a good many years.
The other thing that Boz talked about in the programming was that one of these events, in his mind, you could take, the top 10 finishers in that event, and it would mirror or look very similar to the top 10, outcome of the weekend. Do you think we've seen
Well, if
that
you look
workout
at
yet?
the ring muscle up one, if you look at the
Yeah.
if you look at the ring muscle up one for today on the women's side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that order.
Yeah. I without knowing what else
So,
is
I don't know.
coming, if I
But
had
they-
to pick today, I would pick that
He
one.
said something about Saturday night being like what he's most excited for. So
Yeah.
I would assume it'd be like the Saturday night workout or.
No, he said it wasn't the Saturday night
Oh, it's
workout,
not
but
the-
that's the one that he was
okay.
looking the most forward to. So that's why I don't
Right.
think it's a snatch. I don't think it's something that we've seen. It's going to be something different. Like we're all expecting a snatch, and I think it's not going to be what we're expecting.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited.
Regardless, hang on to your seats because we haven't been able to predict much.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or we
Yeah.
have a little bit. Some people have predicted some of the gymnastics stuff that was going to come. Like Lex and I actually talked about, because we had heard, I think it was maybe on a podcast that they were talking about a new handstand push-up variation. I was like, what I think would be the next progression is wall facing, because that's how you learn it in gymnastics.
Right.
So we actually called wall facing, but we were just thinking to the floor. So it was like wall facing deficit and break your neck reach.
And giraffe neck. Yeah. Jeez. Well, here's to a smoother day tomorrow with judging and all that kind of stuff. Fun day in the pool. And, we'll look to see what other workouts are released throughout the day.
And we're going to work on our crossover double unders.
In the morning, we're gonna practice.
I'm
Alright.
still at the double unders right now. So
True.
we'll keep working on my double unders before I even bring in the crossover ones.
Maybe that's the key, and you just like if you just go straight to the crossover.
Imagine I got to
wizard
the
at it.
crossover round and I was able to do
Just
it because I'm
best.
just so messed up in my double unders. I would die. This
It
whole
would give you the
time.
perfect
This
rhythm.
whole time.
You're like, oh, I should have been doing this the whole time.
I was so excited for single unders. Like, you have no idea. Like, I was like, I've been praying for single unders instead of double unders my whole CrossFit career.
And you got it. Well, good luck tomorrow, Carolyn.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alexis and Mitch, for jumping on with us.
Thank you,
And
guys.
we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow.
See you guys.
Bye.
See you
Sounds
guys.
good. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Bye. I don't know how to turn this off.